Hello, everybody out there on this Monday, August 16th. It's the latter part of summer here, and we're going to be privileged to have someone that's worked in the community for years here and working on homelessness. We're going to be talking about Hesed House. And so I'm going to bring up a friend here. He's also in this Kiwanis group that I wear this cap for all the time. I don't know. It's getting old, Joe. But this is Joe Jackson. And I thank Joe for coming by with us. Joe Jackson today. He's the executive director of Hesed House. That's in Aurora. It's the second largest homeless shelter outside Chicago. I mean, in the state. And outside Chicago, it's the largest. So we can look at it that way too. It depends how you want to, say it here. But it's doing a massive job, a good job there in Aurora. And Joe, I want the sidebar here. This is just every time I think of Joe Jackson, I think, oh, shoeless Joe Jackson. And then that White Sox game the other night, I thought you were going to come out from the cornfield, brother. No, I know you weren't going to come out from the cornfield. Okay, Joe, I'm sorry about all that. I just had to say that. I don't know. It just flows from me right now. But again,
No problem,
welcome, my brother, Joe Jackson, the executive director. Joe, what's up? Give us some of your thoughts right now.
Well, thank you, John. Yeah, thanks for having me on. I'm coming to you live from the corn in Iowa. So.
Oh, really?
No.
Wow.
That was an exciting game, though. I will give you that. That's for sure. Even as a Cubs fan, I can admit that.
Oh, I forgot you're a Cubs fan. Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Well, the Sox got to start winning again. So they're sort of in. I hope this isn't a crosstown fever that's happened to them here for the Sox. I hope. I mean, the Cubs can turn it around. It's going to take a while for these teams. This baseball thing it's fun to watch, but we're going to get down to some business here. This is what's really happening out there in our community, and Joe's been working hard and working with Hesed, and I think that Hesed, it's an Old Testament word in the Bible. Does that mean something like beloved or something? I forgot how, the word, the definition there on that?
Yep.
What was that be, Joe?
You're absolutely right. It's an old Hebrew word. It's from the Bible, the book of Micah. And Hesed actually has a number of translations into the English language, none perfect.
Right.
But the two that we focus on are justice and compassion. So, what does the Lord require of you? He requires that you love Hesed and do Hesed. And so at Hesed House, that's our founder, Rosemary, Sister Rosemary. She actually just came and talked to all of our staff about what it means to do Hesed, what it means to live
really?
Hesed.
Nice. So, I've met her many years ago. It's a long time ago. I know I met her, but yeah. Let me just. I just thought. Here. This is where that. We got off to that. Here's their mission. This is Hesed's mission. It fits right in with what just Joe said. That Hesed House mission is to feed the hungry and clothe the naked, shelter the homeless, and give people the chance to hope again. And that's very good. And there's another word that's found in the Bible too, in Matthew, and that sort of mentions this about kingdom things. So I know Hesed has a spiritual background, but it reaches out to everybody, and we're just trying to show love, and that's what Joe's doing, and all the people that come up and volunteer and just do so many things. So what's happening right now, Joe? I know this COVID is out there and other things, and what's up?
Yeah, so like you hit the nail on the head. COVID is out there, and while the rest of the world had somewhat of a return to normalcy for most of the summer, we never really did.
Okay.
So we, with long-term care facilities, congregate facilities, healthcare facilities, all the same restrictions were in place. So wearing masks constantly, big focusing on vaccines. We're actually doing really well right now, knock on wood, in terms of vaccination rates amongst our staff, amongst our guests. Aunt Martha's is in one of our buildings, Aunt Martha's Health Clinic, and they are a phenomenal partner with helping educate our guests, and then also helping our guests have access to the vaccine, which is absolutely critical in any congregate setting. So we're doing well in terms of that. The other big thing that has changed, or that we're really focusing in on since the last time we talked, you've seen everything. Denise Crosby's recent article in the Beacon about evictions despite the moratorium.
Oh, right. That could be coming more, right?
Mm-hmm. Right. So our case managers at Hesed House are doing an absolutely amazing job making sure that if there are people out there that are at risk of being evicted, that we are helping them avoid homelessness. So just this year, we've already helped over 500 households avoid homelessness and evictions, losing their homes through helping with back rent, helping with utilities, security deposits, back mortgage payments. So there's a lot of need out there despite the moratorium. And like I said, our case managers they're doing a phenomenal job to make sure that the folks that are out there that need help get that help, and that they don't ever have to come to Hesed House and need our services, because that's the best way to end homelessness, is to make sure it doesn't happen in the first place.
That's right. Well, Joe, that means you're going to work yourself out of a job.
That's the goal. That will be, I can tell you, with every staff person at Hesed House, that will be the best day we ever have at Hesed House, where we close the doors, lock them, and we all go look for a job somewhere else. We say that all the time, that we are actively working ourselves out of a job, and we wouldn't have it any other way. So.
I'm glad that's the proper attitude, but it's not overnight here. We know that. So
right. Yes. We need help.
You guys are a hang-in crowd. You got some good people there, and wow, that's very interesting. I noticed on your website about something that's coming. Well, it's right now. I think we discussed just a little before we got on air here. You want to talk a little about that venture that your walk idea?
Absolutely. So every year we typically have what's called the Hike for Hesed, and this started a number of years ago, well before my time at Hesed House, and it started as a way to engage with the community and to have members of our local community literally walk a mile in our guest shoes. And so it started as walking from Hesed House to the Aurora Transportation Center, which is a walk that so many of our guests make every single day. Like the post office, rain, sleet, snow, or shine, our guests make this trek. And so it was meant to symbolize that, and to give people that experience, to know what our guests go through, so they could have more empathy towards our guests and towards our vulnerable neighbors. Unfortunately, because of COVID, we can't do it as we traditionally have, where we get everybody on site at Hesed House. And the good Lord upstairs takes care of us every year with weather on that too. It's always a beautiful day, but because of COVID, we can't do it this year on site. So we're having virtual hikes, and all sorts of groups and churches and pockets in the community are putting on their own hikes for Hesed. And they reach out to us at Hesed House. They visit our website. They get information. We can help with some advertising and things like that. But we've seen a tremendous response so far, particularly from a lot of churches who are looking for a way to re-engage with their congregations, to get everybody together, to rally them around a common cause that's for the better good. And we've seen a lot of traction with it so far. And people can do that anytime now, all the way through the middle of October 17th.
Wow.
Is the last day that people can do this. So
it's a long walk. No, yep. That's very good. Wow. Like up here in Batavia, we could walk around Blacks or down, is there a suggestion on how the length should be, or is it just whatever?
whatever people feel comfortable with. Honestly, it's
Yeah. Yeah.
no matter what the distance, you're thinking, you're putting yourselves in like I said, in the shoes of our guests, and thinking about them, and that's the most important thing. It's to raise awareness of our guests,
Right.
and then to raise funds to help support them. So
I know the when we had the moratorium breakdown in Congress, I remember that Congressman, I think it's Bush is her name, from Missouri. I believe she's from Missouri. Camped out on the overnights, a few nights on the Capitol steps. I mean, this, what you're saying, this walk is, it's a symbolic walk, but it's like thinking about a lot of homeless. They might have bikes, but they probably, some have cars, but most of them are, a lot of them are walking. It's the
absolutely
ancient way of transportation. Just
right.
walk.
It's tried and true.
And it's good. And most Americans don't walk enough, so they are overweight and eat too much. But that's a very good idea. Keep me informed on that, Joe.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And do you have any tallies right now? How that's going? Any numbers
It's
right now?
right. It's going really well. We've already had more than a dozen groups that have gotten in contact with us
Oh,
to
really?
get them set up and to get them going. So the window of time just started. So
Oh,
uh,
okay.
we're working with groups to get them marketing materials. We can get people access to a website if people want to order their own Hike for Hesed shirts to do, with their
Oh,
hikes. We can provide all sorts of different resources and helpful links. So
yeah,
all
no,
people
you're.
have to do is go to our website, hesedhouse.org.
Oh, okay. I'll put that
Fine.
up. We got the Facebook here. Let's put the other one up. This is the Hesed House website.
There you go.
Yeah. Wow. That's a very good idea. And I hope it does well. Sometimes when we do something different, it might do better than we realize. I mean, sometimes it's a mother of new invention here. Uh, and I suppose people can take a little clip and show it around, a little video clip of what they're doing. That's exciting too, showing
Mm-hmm.
their groups and the walks and everything. I did something like that for another group too. So I think that's a very, very good idea. And how's the new place? I think I got a picture. I'm going to put it up. I think this is from your new center across the street, I believe. Is this? I think
That
that's right.
is.
How's that going?
That's going well. So we're utilizing that space as a women's shelter currently, and it's excuse me, it's a remarkable space. Um, and again, because of that space, we're able to have capacity that we need to be able to continue to serve those in our community who are most vulnerable and need our help. So it's a wonderful space. We're really excited about it. That was actually phase one of that project. So we were able to get that done using CARES Act funding. We got it done in time. We've been using it since last January. So it's been great. I'm sorry, since this January. So it's been great. We're starting to raise funds now to convert the rest of that warehouse and to make the rest of it look like that shelter space. So we'd open up a men's sleeping space there. We'd have a dedicated dining room and daytime program. We'd have a commercial kitchen, laundry facilities, shower facilities, basically everything that folks would need with our mission. So food, shelter, clothing, and most importantly, hope. Uh, the most exciting part of it, honestly, is that our guests would be able to stay on site at Hesed House 24 hours a day once we're able to complete that project. So they'll have better daytime access to all of our case management team and all of the connected resources. Like I talked about, Aunt Martha's and AID has people on site breaking free, mutual ground. All of these NIU's legal school, Colleen Baraka runs a legal clinic for us on site. So people would have access to all those resources all day long. They wouldn't have to ever leave Hesed House's campus at all, which would be great.
That sounds good. How's the census of your sites, your whole campus there? What's the numbers running around now?
Yep. So on any given day, between all of our shelters, 150 or more. Um, Truth be told, it could be a lot higher if our case managers weren't doing such a phenomenal
Okay.
job making sure that people didn't need our services. So
Yeah.
at Hesed House, we like to say we have everything we need to get people back up on their feet, and
Right.
by helping people stay in their apartments and their homes. It avoids so much unnecessary trauma on those folks, on the men, women, and kids that are out there. We would
Yeah.
much rather do that than have people need our services at Hesed House. So we're happy
Is
to do it.
is the number historically a lower number at Hesed, and then it picks up in the fall and winter? Is that
Mhm.
true? I mean, I've generally heard that, or other
Yes.
times, is that right?
Yep, absolutely. Typically, right around this time in our family shelter, we see an uptick because if you're over the summer and you have somebody, a cousin who lives in Wisconsin, you can go spend the summer with that cousin in Wisconsin with your kids, but then you come back to for your kids to be able to go to school. So we'll see an uptick in our family shelter more than likely here in the next couple weeks. And then yes, as the weather turns, we always see our numbers start to slowly creep up as the temperatures start to drop.
And your children are involved with, what's it, West Aurora School District? Is that correct, or something along that line?
So funny, so this is all kind of coming full circle. So Sister Rosemarie, our founder,
Right?
helped. She helped get a law passed where if you become homeless and you're a child or you have a child, that child, no matter what shelter you're in, that child can still go to the school that he or she was at. So
Oh,
we have kids that go to all kinds of different school districts. The
wow.
buses come to Hesed House, pick them up at Hesed, bring them to school, and bring them back after. Another part of that law is it's a very good thing. The school districts will pick the kids up first at Hesed House. They're the first kids on the bus, and then they are the last kids to get dropped off. And the reason for that is it helps protect the kids. That way, their peers don't know that they're staying at a shelter. It helps keep some normalcy for them
Oh,
because
very.
unfortunately, kids can be cruel, and so uh, we want to no kid should ever have to experience homelessness. But while they're experiencing it, we want to try to make it, provide as much normalcy as possible. So,
It's an interesting thought there, Joe. It's the logistics thing there. It can help too. A different way to do bus routes and
yep.
um. Oh, what did I hear? I heard that there's going to be more. Oh, that's something sidebar that the bus drivers are. There's less bus drivers, so
Yes, I heard that same thing that they're consolidating a bunch of routes now. Yep.
and that's going to lead to more cars going to school. It's a lot of it's got a lot of ramifications. But
Yep.
I, I but that's still a great thing. Wow, that's a nice idea that the sister did there to get that law and that. I knew that there was something about that. Otherwise, I guess they were just sort of skipped, or maybe they went to the one school district, but maybe they didn't go at all. Right?
Exactly. And again, that provides no normalcy. There's not a lot of dignity there. So it's a very good thing that law was passed, and Sister Rosemarie did everything she did to help that happen. So
Yeah, that sounds like a real nice thing there. Uh, you got any other thoughts you want to share with us, Joe, right now?
just the only other update I mentioned the homeless prevention and the emergency rental assistance program before. If there is anybody out there that needs help with that, please go to our website. John has it up there, www.hesedhouse.org. And there's a red button that says need help question mark. You can click that and it'll get you connected to our case management team that can explain these programs. There's information on our website about them. But we have a whole new round of funding starting September 1st. And we're partnering with Rick Guzman and the fantastic folks at the Neighbor Project on being able to spend those funds and help members in our community who need that help. The other great piece about this is not only can we help with back rent and utilities and things like that, but because of our partnership with Rick and because of our partnership with the city of Aurora, anybody who goes through that program also gets access to the Financial Empowerment Center that is run out of the Thrive building in Aurora, which is actually right next door to us at Hesed House on River Street. So there people have access to services about financial literacy, about monthly budgeting, all the different things that people might need to get back on their feet and then be in a better position moving forward.
Well, that's nice to hear about this. We'll have to talk more on this aspect. This is your social service there on this moratorium and rent help, and this is very important. My understanding is that the state moratorium is running to the end of the month, I think, this month, and I don't know if it's going to be extended by the governor, but then the other one is this federal one that through the CDC, which is sort of it's out there till the courts decide differently, I guess. It could be only a few months on that one. So it's good to get right in now,
Exactly.
and oh yeah, and that's when the money's coming in too, right? Is that what you're saying, in September or something like that?
So the program will officially start September 1st.
Yeah, September
But
1st.
we're helping people right now. I mean, just in the last 3 months, it was 211 households, I believe, that we
Right.
helped out with avoiding homelessness. So, yeah.
Yeah, so I think there's some more funding coming, so there's just got to get right in on that, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, they allocated quite a bit of money. I forgot it was in the billions, but they'd only put out like 3 or something. It was like 51 billion or something. They only put out 3, and it's up to the states to get it to us to down. And Neighbor Project is where that's going through, and they're working with you. That's great. Rick Guzman there. I've had him on before too, and he's great. He's another Kiwanian. We got more Kiwanians out there than you realize out there, folks. And you want to join a good club that's doing a lot of service work, that's the Kiwanis.
Absolutely.
So, Joe, it's just a pleasure to talk with you. Like I think every time I see you, I always think of you. You don't have your shoes on, but I know you do. You're not shoeless, Joe Jackson. No, I know he's got his shoes on. His wife would want him to have his shoes on. I know how they can be, You just don't. You gotta watch out. Don't just excuse me. I know I can do this with this guy. He's that way, but some people would probably slap me in the face right now. But he's
Never.
Yeah, right. But anyway, he's a good brother, and he's doing a great work there. He's got a lot of good people. I know some of them, and this is very beautiful. So remember about the virtual walk, or right now, look at the website here and get more materials. And that sounds really beautiful, Joe. I really think that's a nice thing you're doing. And later on, and I know your volunteer things are out there, but more of it's more on hold, right? Some of the volunteer
Exactly.
aspects.
Yep. A lot of volunteering and a lot of our donations are on hold right now for
Right.
voting and things like that.
So when things open up more, there'll be more opportunities on that front. Actually, right at Hesed House, right? Is that
Absolutely?
That's what?
Yep.
Yeah.
It
And
takes
so
a village, so we need help.
yeah, it takes a village. Yeah, that statement. Yeah, right. That's a good statement. And well, anyway, I thank Joe for spending a little time here today with me. Hopefully on Wednesday, I'm trying to. We'll see if it happens. I'm trying to find some Afghan refugee friends or something. Talk more about Afghanistan. And on Friday, I think I want to talk to a friend, a pastor, about Lebanon. It's not great going there in the Middle East, and some of these places are just the same thing. There's going to be refugees. There's going to be homelessness. It's out there in the world, and we're trying to help on that. So hopefully on Wednesday we'll know a little more about that. I'll know more in another day here, hopefully, on that. So look at the bottom of the screen to get your shots, and the flu shots coming. And so I just want to thank Brother Joe for coming by again. So thank you, Joe, for taking the time from
No
your busy
problem. Thank you, Jim.
schedule. Joe Jackson, Executive Director of Hesed House. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, John. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Goodbye now, and I'm going to give you all my farewell. God bless and bye-bye. And again, thanks, Joe. Bye-bye.
Thanks, John.
Bye-bye.